America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board to order for December 22nd, 2008. Roll call, please.
Bernard Bassett.
Here.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Sheila Brockway. Here. Gerard Renadette.
Here.
Martin Mannix.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
Resolution 08-392.
Resolved that the minutes of the December 15, 2008 meeting be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Have a motion. Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette. I'd also ask for a motion to table this resolution because we don't have the minutes available this evening, and we'll bring that back at our next meeting.
I'll move that.
Mr. Renadette, do we have a second on that? Ms. Brockway, any discussion? Roll call on the motion to table.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway. Yes. Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. The table resolution 392 to our next meeting. This is the portion of our town board meeting that we invite anyone who would like to approach the board to do so. Please state your name, your address, and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Nobody?
And
I'll wait till I know what to say.
I thought those young men would want to be on camera. There we go.
If all you get's 5 minutes, it's not worth it.
Resolution 393.
Resolved to receive and place on file the supervisor's financial report for the month of December 2008.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second. Mr. Brockway, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway. Yes. Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 394.
Whereas there is a need to appoint a labor standards compliance officer coordinator to meet certain grant and project requirements. Therefore be it resolved to receive and place on file a memo from the supervisor recommending the appointment of Philip Creel as labor standards compliance officer coordinator for the town of Plattsburgh.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second. Mr. Brockway, any discussion?
Are we appointing, or are you appointing?
I'm making the, well, the board's going to appoint by...
That's not what it says. just
The
wanna make sure.
supervisor's recommending the appointment to the board.
And I have that letter, and it says,
I don't know what you're saying. In the resolution, the resolve is to...
receive and place on file a memo from the supervisor recommending the appointment.
But we haven't appointed.
The board has to vote on that recommendation, just a recommendation.
Be it further resolved that the board hereby does appoint, shouldn't we?
I think it's almost apparent, you know, that
I don't think so. To me, it should
All you're
say-
going to have is a resolution that says you accepted the letter from the supervisor.
Now, if you pass
Recommending.
the resolution, it's, right, accepting the recommendation that he be appointed.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
That's what it says in the result.
Resolved.
It just says to receive.
So if you
It
go
says
yes,
receive and place on file.
I'm sorry, you know, I guess I have to go with the English language.
Doesn't make the appointment.
I think, well, we're all agreed the supervisor doesn't make the appointment. The appointment can only be made by the board, and the supervisor's recommending. What
Well,
wording?
that goes in the whereas.
I
And then it
have no
says,
problem, I have no
resolve
problem
the
with
appointment of-
amending the resolution so that we also, in concert with accepting the letter recommending, we do also make the appointment, excuse me.
and be it further resolved that that Mr. Correll be appointed as labor standards officer.
Correct.
But it really should be, whereas we received a memo from the supervisor recommending the appointment of Philip Correll, and resolved that we appoint him. That's what it should be.
Well, that's what they just did. They just added another resolve. You know, be it further resolved, okay, that the board hereby appoints Philip Correll, standards compliant officer coordinator for the town of Plattsburgh. Does that do it?
That does it. I'll take it.
I read that amendment back, please. We would add after the resolved, and be it further resolved that Phil Correll be appointed as Labor Standards Compliance Officer Coordinator for the town of Plattsburgh.
Thank you.
Okay? Just for the record, I think it's, with a yes vote, it achieved the same end goal, but that's
Who made the motion?
motion made by Mr. Ronda.
I'm assuming he's...
Yes, I have no problem with the addition as read.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Sheila Brockway?
Yes.
Gerard Renner?
Yes.
Martin Mannix?
Yes.
Henry Bassett?
Yes. Resolution 395.
Whereas the town board of the town of Plattsburgh in the county of Clinton, New York, requested the Birch Group, a competent engineer firm duly licensed by the state of New York, to prepare a preliminary map, plan, and report for the construction and acquisition of water facilities known as the Moffett Road Water Line Extension at an estimated cost of $1 million in and for the town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Water District, including all necessary materials, equipment, machinery, and apparatus, land, rights, and land required in connection therewith, and pursuant to the direction of the town board, the engineer completed and filed with the town board such preliminary map, plan, and report. Following the report, the engineer has determined that it is estimated that a maximum of the Moffett Road water line, maximum cost of the water line are to be $1,100,000, whereas the additional cost of the construction and acquisition of said facilities in and for the water district in the approximate amount of $1 million is anticipated to be financed on a long-term basis with a 0% or very low percent interest rate loans, if available, provided by the New York Environmental Facilities Corporation or other government funding source during the period of construction and acquisition, with bond anticipation notes authorized by the town board and issued by the town. Whereas pursuant to section 202B of town law, permission of the state comptroller for the town to undertake such construction and acquisition will now be required. Whereas the town board wishes to review all environmental compliance requirements under Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and regulations thereunder from the time to time with respect to construction and acquisition of such water district. And the environmental compliance file in this matter and for the water district is maintained and on file and available for public inspection at regular business hours during the town hall hours. Whereas the town board wishes to resolve its official intent to finance the additional cost of construction and acquisition of water facilities known as the Moffett Road Water Line Extension at an estimated additional cost of $1 million in and for the water district.
100,000.
100,000, I'm sorry about that, on a tax-exempt basis for federal income tax purposes. Whereas the town board wishes to obtain the view of citizens, property owners principally residing outside the town, governmental officials, public agencies, and other interested persons in the subject thereof. Now therefore is ordered that a meeting of the town board be held at the Town Hall, Plattsburgh, New York on January 12, 2008 at 6:45 p.m. prevailing time to consider construction, acquisition, and financing the additional cost of the water facilities known as the Moffett Road Water Line Extension at an estimated cost of $1 million. Or 100,000, I keep doing that. In connection therewith, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same, and such other action to be part of the town board with relation thereto, as may be required by law. And it is further ordered that the project enumerated with cost proposal attached thereto shall be treated as a separate item for which the hearing is to be held pursuant to section 202B of town law, and that the consolidation of notices for each enumerated project is for administrative efficiency with full regard to the due notice and disclosure of the matters at hand to all interested persons. And it be further resolved that the town clerk publish at least once in the Plattsburgh Press Republican, a newspaper published in Plattsburgh, New York, and hereby designated as the official paper for the town, such publication and post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subdivision 6 of section 30 of town law, a copy of this order certified by said town clerk, the publication thereof and said posting not to be not less nor more than 20 days before the date of such public hearing. And it be further ordered that the town clerk mail a copy of this order to every person or entity appearing on the 2008 fiscal tax roll for the town whose address is not in Clinton County, New York. And such mailing is not to be less nor more than 20 days before the date of such public hearing. And it be further ordered that the aforementioned preliminary map plan and report of the engineer are available for public inspection during regular business hours of the town at the Town Hall, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York. And it be further ordered that the town board is hereby determined to be the lead agency in accordance with 6 NYC RR Part 617 for the purpose, among others, of assessing the effect of said construction and acquisition on the environment and determining whether said effect is sufficiently sufficient to require the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Mannix, second.
Second.
Mr. Ronk. Any discussion?
Why are we, I mean, we did this once, right? Why do we have to have another public hearing?
Because you are asking to extend the bonding of this another 100,000. We've gone over what appears to be by $57,820. The 100 is, just in case we're not done yet. Unfortunately, a great deal of that is issues with time. A great deal of that is issues with the DOT and getting the permit. I spoke with the contractor, Mr. Luck, today, and he's concerned. They want to get the permit application in, and they're waiting still, many, many weeks later, for DOT to tell them how much the project's got to be bonded for. All that keeps costing and costing us. We had to re-engineer the whole run of the interstate, as well as we redesigned the eastern side from the original plans, which was a savings, but here we are. Again, the projected is 57,820.
When we originally did this, we had allocated extra, hadn't we?
That was my question, and there was some in there, but it's gone beyond that.
We had reduced it, the way the bids came in and everything, we reduced it, and then what we did was we passed the bond resolutions at the reduced amount, and now we've got, we're going to exceed them by some number between probably $60,000 and $100,000.
Yeah.
So there was a projected construction underrun of 56, and now we have an overrun of 57.
I don't remember what the underrun was. The bids came in lower than we thought they would, and we just kind of rounded that off to the million, but it's gone over.
And it's strictly because they dilly-dallied around and didn't give us our permits, right?
DOT played a huge role in that, and not only in getting the permit, but the process to apply. They had a lot of challenges about boring under the interstate. They wanted sleeves put in. You're going through solid bedrock. That was a big, big part of it.
So at this point, then the $1 million bond isn't any good. We're doing $1.1 million.
Correct.
No, we're just doing an additional.
An additional
$100,000.
Doing an additional.
Right.
The original bond is good, but we have to have a public hearing for the additional
100,000.
$100,000 unless we paid it out of our own
So
funds.
then it was
Right.
bond.
Right. Good point. Okay. And this is this price going to be guaranteed for next year, since we have to wait now for another?
Well, that's why there's a little
5 or 6
cushion in
months.
there, but, the work hasn't begun. We don't know what kinds of problems, when they begin boring into the interstate, that they could encounter. It's not over till it's over, as they say. That's why you're asking for 100,000 versus 57,820. There was a time when I'd say, gee, maybe it'll come in less than 57,820, and we'll only need 25,000.
Well, is
But I've matured beyond that.
Is 100,000 enough? Or
We hope.
Shouldn't we be putting that up to 200,000 to make sure?
I don't think you should. I mean, that's twice as much as is projected. And I think we're going to get to a point where you don't want to ask people to pay more than that, especially on this project. There are a limited number of individuals who benefit, and the cost, this $1.1 million, is being spread out through the entire consolidated district to make it happen. So I think that's it. We have to do it.
Well, as I understood it, if we have a larger amount, we don't necessarily have to bond the larger amount. We can bond less, but we can't bond higher amount.
Right. And in other words, if it came out in the end 1,100,000 $500, we could just pay the $500 out of existing accounts and finish the project. It doesn't all have to be bonded. But we're not, we don't have enough liquidity right now to just say, we'll just throw in whatever's missing. You just can't do that in this economy. No more in the spring, I guess. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Martin Maddox.
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes, resolution 396.
Whereas LaBerge Engineering and Consulting Group, competent engineer, has prepared a map plan and report for the construction and acquisition of the Katyville-Morrisonville Waterline Extension in and for the town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Water District, including all necessary materials, equipment, machinery, apparatus, land, and rights in land required in connection therewith, and pursuant to the direction of the town board. The engineer completed and filed with the town board such map plan and report and a detailed explanation of how the estimated cost to the district of improvements of the district was computed. And the engineer estimated the additional cost thereof to be financed by the town on a permanent basis to be $50,000, and the total maximum cost of the project to be financed by the town to be $800,000. Whereupon on December 22nd, 2008, the town board of said town adopted an order calling a public hearing and caused notice of such hearing to be published, posted, and mailed by publishing, posting, and mailing said order by United States Mail, and stating January 12, 2008 at 6:30 p.m. as the time in the Town Hall in Plattsburgh, New York, in the town of Plattsburgh, as the place where the town board would meet to hear all persons interested in the subject matter thereof. Whereas the public hearing was held at the time and place as aforesaid in the manner described, at which all persons interested in the subject matter were given an opportunity to be heard. Now therefore be it resolved that upon evidence given at the public hearing described herein, it is determined by the town board of the town of Plattsburgh, New York, as indicated.
We have a motion. Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? Again, you'll see on the attachment, the projection is 25.1. The request is 50, and we certainly won't take more than is required, but that project, again, DOT in Watertown, there were a lot of issues concerning getting permission to work along Route 3. I don't know how you do the project without doing that. There were a lot of issues with what you could call a brook that runs under the road, and the way they wanted that dealt with. After many communications, someone down there realized that that was DEC, not DOT, to even act on. Again, all that was a lot of communications, a lot of delay, redesigning. We ran into some issues, as I think all of you know, with getting easements, which has taken us to court once. Today, we have, Mr. Coffey's been working on that, and I believe we've resolved all that. But again, some of those things were not at all anticipated, correctly so.
So basically, the Department of Transportation in New York cost us over $200,000.
Well, I don't
That's the
know.
cost because we were supposed to be going under run 35,000, and now we're over 25,000. On the other one, we were under 50,000, and we're over for 50,000. So basically, it's about $200,000 the Department of Transportation is costing us.
I'll let you go on record as saying that.
That's what I'm going to go on record as saying.
It's, as well as the time. I mean, I'm just extremely frustrated that these two projects in particular won't be finished. They should have been finished late summer, early fall. Now we're into, so, you know, it's, but there have been some issues down there, and you're absolutely right, Tom, with some new people, I believe. It's very difficult to get them to come up and actually sit down with you, look at a project, and understand it. In the end, we're able to get through, but
I just was going on record because they're New York State are saying, you know, we have to cut back here and we have to fund other things, and they're the ones that are costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, you've got an hour and a half. I want to talk to you about a grant that I haven't seen any money on yet, and how much that's cost us in sales tax and jobs in the economy.
Now, on another front here, I don't quite understand going from page 1 to page 2. We're setting this public hearing for January 12th. Is that correct?
That's last year, on
Yeah,
the
it should be
2008.
2009,
We're not,
right?
we've had all the public hearings.
Yeah.
This is for an addition, thank you, Tom.
We're not having any more public hearings, right?
But we do need to, because of the additional.
Additional
funding.
amount, you gotta do that.
Oh, okay,
And that should be the 12th of
2009.
January 2009 at 6:45.
6:30.
Is that in another
The
part
other
of
one, I
this?
believe, is
that
at
I didn't see?
6:30. I believe that one's 6:45.
Last is 2008.
I think there's a change to now.
No, the other one was 6:45, the other way
This
around.
is
That one's
6:30.
6:30, right. I should have had that one first.
So it should be, so the third line from the bottom should read January 12, 2009?
At 6:30, correct.
And then on the next page, the first whereas a public hearing was held at the time and place as aforesaid in the manner described, I took that to be that was the January 2008 hearing that we held. But I see now that this one would apply to something that we haven't held yet, so I don't see how we can do that.
Probably you might want public hearing will be held.
Well, the next, now therefore be it resolved that upon the evidence given at the public hearing described herein, it is determined that town board of town of Plattsburgh as follows. That's all in past tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get rid of the whereas section and the now therefore be resolved.
Which is why I didn't quite understand this.
Yeah, the very first whereas on the second page, we want to change was to will be. A public hearing will be held at the time and place as aforesaid in the manner. All we're doing with this resolution is setting the time and date for a public hearing with notice to be placed in the newspaper, which
Well,
is
then,
not noted.
now therefore be resolved on the second page that upon the evidence given at the public hearing, that should be stricken too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would strike that whole section.
Yeah.
But we do need to note that notice will be placed in the newspaper under the same conditions as Resolution 395.
So is that, instead of the now therefore be it resolved, should it be notice will be placed as follows?
Well, if it was 3 o'clock this afternoon, I would do a copy and paste of Resolution 395 that begins with the further order, which sets the process for the announcement of the newspaper and so on, as well as the mailings. That should have been included in this resolution.
Yeah. Because
What I believe happened, the attorneys sent draft resolutions for the seeker, et cetera, and I think the wrong one got grabbed. All right? Now, just ignore all that. That's a different resolution. Take that whole section off.
Yep.
If you go back to Resolution 395,
Yep.
and the second page of Resolution 395, now therefore it is ordered. That language should be added to this resolution.
Yes.
The only change would be the time, which
Mhm.
should be 6:30.
Okay.
And then the rest stipulates the notice in the newspaper, the mailings, et
Right.
cetera.
All right, so we're just going to transpose the January 12th, 2008 at 6:30, that part of it.
Correct, to replace the balance of
Yeah.
that phraseology.
This is the follow-up, the body of the follow-up resolution after we have the hearing.
Right.
And that was put in there by mistake.
It's just that I want to make sure what I'm voting on here.
Yep, that's a good catch, Doug.
Correct. Make the point.
Good. Okay.
So we're gonna add the-
Basically, this whole thing, all we're doing is setting a public hearing
Correct.
to increase it by $50,000 because of the cost overruns.
396 should have really mirrored 395, different project, different amount, and a different time for the hearing. Everything else was the same.
That page is gonna go there.
Yes. We will,
Well, all the supporting documentation is correct in the back. It's just-
yep. Ms. Brockway, you made the motion. Do you accept those amendments? Your motion? Any other discussion? The roll call?
Thomas Wood,
As amended, yes?
Sheila Brockway. Yes. Gerard Renninger.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Herbert Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 397.
On motion of Town Board Member Martin Mannix and seconded by Member Sheila Brockway, the following resolution was adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York. Whereas the town has been studying the impact of outdoor wood boilers and has declared its intent to act as lead agency, with there being no other agencies involved. And whereas the town has received a report from the Code Enforcement Officer recommending the adoption of a local law regulating the sitting, construction, and operation of outdoor wood boilers. And whereas local law number 4 of 2008, a local law regulating outdoor wood boilers, has been prepared, and whereas the same has been placed on the desk of all members of the town board this day, together with a full assessment form, full environmental assessment form having been prepared for such. Whereas a public hearing on such proposed local law is necessary. Now therefore be resolved that the town board consider adopting proposed local law number 4 of 2008, entitled Outdoor Wood Boilers, a copy of which is attached. And it is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of the public hearing and a meeting to be published in the Press Republican in accordance with town law. And it is further resolved that a public hearing be held on January 5th, 2009, at 6:35 for the purpose of hearing all purposes for and against the proposed local law, to be held at the Town of Plattsburgh Town Hall offices, 151 Plattsburgh, New York. And it be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to post, publish, and mail notice of the public hearing as required to adjoining municipalities and Clinton County Planning Board.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renner. Any
I
discussion?
just have a question on this, Jim. If this doesn't get adopted until 2009, does it still remain local law number 4 of 2008? Or
No.
does it in fact be local law number 1 of 2009?
It would be indeed.
I think we ought to change the language because there's no way it's gonna get
There's no way it's gonna get-
passed in 2009.
I would like to just amend this resolution to read local law number 1 of 2008, because I do believe that this will probably be the first
It
one.
will be the first one, absolutely, yeah.
All right, so where it says number 4 of 2008, we'll just change it to number 1 of 2009?
Correct.
Any other discussion?
We're basically just setting up a public hearing again.
Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Renninger.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Herbert Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 398.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board recognizes that certain employees who are members of the Teamsters Clerical and Administrative bargaining units may have health insurance options enabling them to obtain coverage under insurance policy other than the policy made available to employees by the town. And whereas the Town Board wishes to control insurance cost and duplication of services and benefits, therefore it be resolved that employees who are able to document their insurance coverage under another insurance plan and do not participate in the health insurance plan offered by the Town of Plattsburgh shall have $1,000 added to an HRA plan for their use as determined by the town's HRA policy. This added benefit shall be available for 2009 and will be considered for continuation prior to December 31st of 2009.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renner, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
This is what we had in our contract?
We had discussed that at the last work session.
Right.
But it has to be renewed each year. We have that as a annual decision for the board to make.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I do think we ought to change the roll call.
That might be a good
You
idea.
change that one, won't you? Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Bernadette.
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 399.
Resolved that the town board does hereby receive the school bus lease agreement dated January 1st, 2009 between Saranac Central School District, Town of Saranac, County of Clinton, hereinafter called the leaser, and the town of Plattsburgh as the lessee for leasing school buses for recreation purposes commencing on the first day of January 2009 and ending on the 31st day of December 2009 for a sum of $1.90 per mile plus the cost of the driver if provided, and subject to the terms and conditions set forth in said lease agreement. And it is further resolved that upon approval of said agreement by the town attorney, the supervisor being is hereby authorized to execute said lease agreement for the town of Plattsburgh and is directed to obtain and initiate through the town of Plattsburgh compliance with all other terms and provisions of the agreement. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Cool Insurance, the Recreation Department, and one copy kept on file in the town clerk's office.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second. Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
Any chance of working out something with Noble Bus where we get our own bus?
It's pretty likely, yeah.
A pretty expensive bus.
Good
Yes.
fee, good fee.
Is there anything else we have to vote on for that? or-
Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard
Yes.
Bernadette, Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 400.
West Clinton County Department of Social Services has submitted to the supervisor of the town of Plattsburgh an agreement that the town agrees to provide for the establishment of work experience projects for the assignment of employable persons in receipt of home relief and pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 45, Section 450-63 and Section 305-C of the Social Service Law of the State of New York for employable persons in receipt of aid to families with dependent children. And whereas the sponsor has agreed to enter into said agreement, as approved to by form by the town attorney. Now therefore is resolved that the town of Plattsburgh enters into said agreement with the worksite sponsor agency, and the supervisor being is hereby authorized to sign the same effective January 1st, 2009 through December 31st, 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second. Ms. Brockway, discussion. I don't know if you have with you this evening the actual agreement, but there are some changes when you note name and title of supervisors covered in the agreement.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And we have contacted them, and that will be changed before it goes. It's a copy and paste world, I guess, right?
That's it. Word processors, they're wonderful.
That's how we reduce staff and get to do more faster with limited accuracy. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Bernadette.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. I would guess also this might be one of those programs that could be subject to the block depending on how things work out in the final budget. We don't really know if it will be funded or won't. Resolution 401, that's 401 resolutions to this date, councilors.
Whereas employee contracts were settled after the 2008 budget was passed, and whereas there were employees in 2008 that elected to pick up the town's health insurance that were not previously budgeted for, therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Plattsburgh authorize the following budget amendments as indicated.
Have a motion? Ms. Brockway, second.
So moved. Or second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
The only one is increase town attorneys, that would probably be the town zoning attorney. I don't take insurance here.
We will correct that.
This is all for the insurance?
It is.
Now, we're moving money from these various accounts. I assume that all of these accounts have sufficient balance in them?
Yes, that's noted as you see the decreases
Decrease in
in the bottom.
contingency.
That's what covers it. And you know, you go through this every year at the end. We passed the budget for 2009, which is a little bit of a moving target. And at the end of the year, you assess expenses that you didn't anticipate and hopefully have accounts that you didn't deplete, and you balance the budget to meet those expenses to close the books, which is really what's happening with the next, this resolution and the next two. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brooklyn.
Yes.
Gerard Rennick.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Leonard Bassett.
Yes, resolution 402.
Whereas the 3 employee bargaining units of the town of Plattsburgh have recently successfully negotiated new contracts effective January 1st, 2007 to December 31st, 2010. And whereas monies were allocated in the 2007 budget in a contingency account in the general highway and water, sewer, and admin funds for the purpose of paying retroactive wages and fringes upon completion of the contracts. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budget amendments are authorized by the town board as indicated.
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Rennet, second. Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
The contingency here, we're going to decrease the contingency, just the general contingency account again, that's by 38,500.
Correct.
We did 75,000 on the other one.
Correct.
What was the balance on that?
Offhand, I don't know. As we went through the budgeting process with negotiations ongoing, an amount of money in anticipation of what the settlement would be was set aside for that.
Well, I know that was
so
set
the
aside.
excess was there.
I remember doing that, I can't remember the overall amount.
I don't either, Tom.
And,
You'd be good.
what's that?
You said you'd be really good if you could remember.
Remember that line out of that
You know?
10-inch map?
2007?
I don't want to say something I But anyway,
You're
in this
right.
particular one, we kept the money that was going back, so that 200,000, was that part of the contingency?
Not necessarily. And until we receive the final sales tax payments, we don't know that there's 200,000.
Okay.
What we've done in the past, and that goes back to, over 700,000 two administrations ago, sales tax revenues were such that you could project quite well with those, that last month and a half of payments to come in. With the snowstorms we've had the last couple of weekends, which has been an enormous amount of overtime in the highway department that was budgeted for. Unfortunately, we had to use it, but kind of wish you wouldn't. I'm hearing from some of the retail, they've been some good days, but like last Sunday, it was tough to get out. People weren't going shopping. So we don't really know what that sales tax balance will be, and especially this year with the economy, we don't know what the impact will be. So there may or may not be too. So I guess that's the long answer to a kind of a short question. This money has to come out of existing revenue, not anticipated.
The reason it didn't all come on Sunday was that everybody in the world was there Saturday.
Saturday was very busy. You're absolutely right. I was down on Sunday.
If
It
you
was
have
much
all the
quieter.
parking lot full all the way out, then it's pretty busy.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say everybody was getting ready for the Giant game.
Could be that too.
All the
But
way.
that was late at night.
Any other discussion? I guess the good news, maybe the final comment on that is the budgeting process worked well in that all of the anticipated needs and contingency accounts are sufficient to balance these accounts and pay these final bills as we get to the end of the year. We don't know what that carryover is going to be truly until those last, the last revenue from sales tax comes in. A roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Rennick.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Leonard Bassett.
Yes. And I'm thinking as I wrap that statement up, we don't really want to take too lightly how many businesses, many municipalities, state government are facing incredible deficits. We're able to pay our bills at the end of 2008. We have a balanced budget for 2009. Obviously, we anticipate revenue we can't control, which is scary. We can't raise funds. We simply wait to receive what we hope will happen, which is, you know, a best guess given the information you have. But the town of Plattsburgh was solvent and growing through 2008. And that maybe isn't said loud enough. Resolution 403.
Whereas the audits for 2005 and 6 required additional work, and whereas the town share for elected workers exceeded the 2008 budgeted amount, therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Plattsburgh authorize the following budget amendments as indicated.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renada. Any discussion?
The, says for 2005, 2006, I thought we did 2007 also.
2007 is so close to done. We have a couple of reports that have to come in, but I don't know if they'll pull that off. We're kind of getting down to hours more than we are days now with 2008, but it's very, very close. The work for 2007, you know, the majority of it has been done, vast majority.
So that wouldn't be included in this extra appropriation, but it might be covered under the new contract?
We're hoping. The labor's been done. We'll see. It's going to take probably one more year to see the impact of a change in software, of our changing some other way business is done to be able to have the forms, to have the accounts reconciled. The 2006 audit, the number of reconciliations that had to be done was down from 2005, and they'll be down in 2007. So we're definitely going the right way, and the less work they have to do to complete the audit, the lower the bill. Now, the extra was reduced significantly also from the original bill. I think this, was not one that was easy to accept, and the firm, Abbott Friend Russell Coffey, was very good about listening to my laments and seeing that we are working hard to improve, and they did reduce that bill by quite a bit. It's the way it is, and as I said, I guess we're making things better. We should have never been so far behind with audits. If nothing else, simply not having to go through 3 audits in 1 year will provide more accounting time to be able to be providing information in a timely fashion. So it's a black hole, but we're digging out.
Usually, your decreased appropriations equals your increased appropriations, and that number's not working out. Is it because we have already some money in those? I'm assuming this, but I hate to assume anything.
There is a $10,000 difference, Gerard. I honestly don't know why I'm just picking that up right now. What I think we may have is it should be a decrease in fund balance. I think she made a mistake there, because if we take those 3 offsets, they do balance with the $50,000 being requested as increased appropriations. And in fact, I would ask that we amend this resolution to note a decrease appropriation in the fund balance of $10,000
Instead of an increase.
instead of an increase, and that's the way that's set up, and it does balance.
That would make sense, and I would offer that I'll go along with that. I would like to get some verification.
Yeah, we'll get that confirmed. Let you all know. Any other discussion? We will amend the 3rd item, fund balance, to be a decrease versus an increase, as indicated. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Renata.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Shirley Bassett.
Yes.
Just like to ask a question before we start on this. I believe the next resolutions from 404 to 410, 411 are appointments. We haven't discussed any of these appointments as a board in a work session. Even met some of the people that were appointed for long term, so I would prefer holding off on these until the next meeting.
We can do that if you want to make that as a motion. Most of these individuals are seeking a reappointment, And I hadn't heard anything from anyone, and, I had those drafts out there, so I assumed everybody was pretty comfortable with what you had to make those as reappointments.
Well,
The only one thing we're going to run into is their terms expire 12/31.
Yeah. And you got meetings in, first week of January, you have planning board meeting, second week zoning board?
Sounds right.
The only two names that I don't recognize are we're being asked to appoint them as alternates. And I really don't have a problem with appointing new people as alternates for any reason. It looks like everybody else is a reappointment, and I know all of them.
Well, no, I don't agree with that, but I think you're basically right, but there's a couple that
And,
I think in general, our process for appointing people, particularly when we're appointing people for 5 to 7 years, should entail some kind of discussion and perhaps even meeting with people. I realize that I appreciate that people want to volunteer and that they're willing to do this, and I know that many times they're putting in lots of hours and it's somewhat thankless at times. And so I don't want to discourage that at all, but I do feel that the board ought to, before making appointments for long-term, at least discuss it.
well, you can have those discussions this evening.
Do we have anybody new being appointed?
Not as a full-time member. You have alternates, and these have come with the recommendation of the department chair and so on.
Well, I tried to get the department, I tried to get the people in charge, I don't call that.
I thought we had a meeting, I thought we just had a workshop
I thought we
session
did too.
where these came up and we discussed them.
These have been out there for a little bit. And as I said, I didn't get any other feedback, so that's why I brought them forward this evening. We can take them one at a time and discuss them. I mean, if we're going to discuss them in a work session, that's an open meeting as well. And
Well, every resolution is available for discussion. I suggest we go through the resolutions.
I
Sure.
agree.
I'm hearing a consensus of opinion, Resolution 404.
Whereas zoning board assessment review member Wanda Rasco's term will expire December 31st, 2008, and whereas Ms. Rasco is willing to continue to serve on the board, now therefore be resolved that Wanda Rasco be reappointed to the zoning board of review for a term to expire December 31st, 2013.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Mannix, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
Does that fit into the terms that we were supposed to have so that they were effective
Good.
every year for the 5 years?
Yes, as I drafted these out, I checked my list and I checked it twice.
Good going, Santa.
What I didn't do, here comes the disclaimer.
Great, Nick.
What I didn't do is, as the final ones were produced today, I just didn't have time to go back to that third check. But if not, I'm very confident they are. With this set of appointments, we have finally got all these positions staggered. It's taken 2 years, but we'll be there. It'll be 1 a year.
Well, that's why I didn't want to make any mistakes.
And the other thing I'd note, especially with the reappointments and individuals coming from an alternate position to a regular appointment, they've had some experience, some training, and I feel with the department head or the board chair's support, this was a chance not to reappoint, so they must feel good about their contribution. And I think as Marty indicated, we can make a comment individually if you'd like. But,
And who is recommending this one? You said that
I made the motion.
you said that the department heads?
all the department heads and I,
Or the people in-
a month or two ago, began discussions about the appointments, reappointments, and/or new recommendations. Quite some time ago.
This is the assessment review.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. They meet
They only meet
once
once,
a year.
right?
But they have the zoning board, that's in the resolution, I believe.
Assessment review. Oh, that read and I didn't even. Yes, it's assessment review in the whereas, but in the resolved it was zoning. It should
Zoning,
be
yeah.
assessment review.
Yeah, all the way through.
What's the date
So it's the Board of Assessment Review or Zoning
No.
Board of Review?
It's the assessment, it's the Board of Assessment Review, but they have zoning Board of Assessment Review. It should be just
And then
the,
they also have resolved,
that's correct.
reappointed to the Zoning Board of Review.
That's what I pointed out.
That's wrong too.
That's correct.
To the Board of Review, to the Assessment Board of Review. Board of Assessment Review.
Any other discussion?
So it reads, whereas the Board of Assessment Review member,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second one is same, and then resolved that Juan Dreska be appointed to the Board of Assessment Review.
That's correct.
Term to expire December 31st?
Yep.
Yep.
It's for 1 year?
No, 2013.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Laura Brennman.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
William Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 405.
Whereas Paul Lemoyne's current position on the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board expires December 31st, 2008, and whereas Mr. Lemoyne is willing to serve another term, therefore be it resolved that Paul Lemoyne of 184 South Junction Road in the Town of Plattsburgh be reappointed to the Planning Board for a term to expire December 31st, 2013.
A motion?
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette?
It's the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board.
In the,
And-
As an alternate.
And as an alternate, it's my understanding that they were appointed for 1 or 2 years. That's what I understood for an alternate, that they were renewed every year or two.
I think initially, Tom, you're right, but I thought one of the things that we discussed was changing those terms. But the idea being that you're bringing these people along, you're training these people on the items, et cetera, and when you have a vacancy, you have them there ready to go.
This is filling a regular board appointment, not an alternate. He has been an alternate. He will now fill a vacancy as a regular board member.
Oh,
Well, it says,
so
it
it
says
says
it's being,
alternate at the
it
top.
says he's being reappointed to the planning board. So I assumed it was being reappointed as an alternate.
No, I believe it is a regular term that he's filling a vacancy.
Well, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to vote on these. It's not that I'm opposed to the individuals necessarily.
Let me grab a folder to clarify that.
Aren't we meeting on the 5th? There's no other group meeting before we meet on the 5th.
They would be reappointed as an alternate,
That's what I thought.
and that should expire 2010.
It will expire 2010?
Yeah.
Okay.
we might want to indicate that in the resolve, to be reappointed to the planning board as an alternate.
Mhm.
It's just this type of thing. We're doing it this one, the next one, is there a mistake in the next one too? I mean, I thought this was a mistake, but I don't know if each one of them is a mistake. And I'm sorry I didn't get back to anybody earlier today. I didn't receive these till this morning. I picked them up 6 o'clock. Didn't have a chance to get my papers that list all the dates and times for this meeting.
Well,
In all fairness, I think we all missed them just as much, Tom. I mean, I looked at these, and I didn't pick it up either, so the discussion is beneficial to me as well as everybody else, I'm sure, on the board. I have no problem with rectifying it tonight or rectifying it on the 5th.
I just
think
don't want
the
to
workload-
end up making a resolution now
Right.
that appoints somebody to something that we weren't intending to appoint
And I
them
agree
to.
with you. I agree with you 100%, and that's what we
And I don't,
found
and
out.
it's my fault, I don't have my list of, that I keep of
But I think,
dates and
I think
times
what
of
Bernie
everybody.
just came back and talked about, Mr. Lemoyne, he is an alternate. He's being reappointed to his alternate position. His alternate position will be for a period of 2 years.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 years for the alternates, and it'll be December 31st, 2010.
Correct.
There's no objection to that, it's just, so I know which ones they are.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Renfro.
Yes.
Martin Maddox.
Yes.
Larry Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 406.
Whereas a vacancy exists on the town of Plattsburgh zoning board of appeals, and whereas Sherm Rabideau, being an alternate board member, is moved to an appointed position on that board. Now therefore be it resolved that Sherm Rabideau be appointed as a board member and the appointed term expires December 31st, 2011.
We have a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Renadette, second Ms. Brockway. And let me double check that.
This one is, again, two different ways here. I've got one resolution that says alternate, and one that says both ways.
Says that he was an alternate. That's what mine reads, that he
Yeah,
was an
and he's
alternate and
gonna
now
be
being
appointed
appointed
to
to
the
the
board.
board.
Well, I know, but it says that Sherm Rabideau, alternate board member, be appointed for a term to expire. So he's an alternate board member?
He would be appointed as a regular board member.
I'd take out the term alternate board member, just simply say, resolve that Sherm Rabideau be appointed to a term to expire December 31st.
Maybe I have an old resolution.
Well, you could say resolution.
I think the resolve does say alternate, and Marty
Yeah.
is just
Right.
saying.
If you delete that.
Get that word out.
I think you're right, Tom, to point out that it causes confusion. I think if it's deleted, it'll be cleaner. People will recognize he's being appointed for a term to expire December 31st, 2011.
What was the deletion you want to make, Marty? Take out that second
Alternate.
whereas?
Well, you would just
Just
take
take
out the
out
whole
the word
second,
alternate?
second whereas.
Yeah, alternate board member.
You'd have to take out the whole second whereas.
It isn't a second whereas, it's a resolved that I'm reading.
Yeah, well, that was a different one that I had too.
That's what I got.
I think I missed this.
I do too.
Yeah, that's one that I had, but there's a different resolution somewhere. That's got 406 on it. That one has XXX.
Yes. Well, they all got.
There's another.
So we're not reading
I'm
the
writing
same, we're not
them-
reading the same one.
I'm writing them in as I go.
One would, I think
Two
that
packets.
we know what we're doing, and we're appointing him as board member.
Okay, this is a regular board member.
Regular board member.
He was an alternate, he's becoming a regular board
Correct.
member. The term is to expire 2011, so that obviously must be one of the ones we need to fit in.
Right.
Okay, hopefully that's.
Any other discussion? In Resolution 406, we're going to simply strike the second whereas and note that Sherm Rabideau be appointed as a regular board member and appointed term to expire December 31, 2011.
Good.
Roll call?
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Renfro.
Yes.
Martin Maddox.
Yes.
Larry Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 407.
Whereas Bonnie Fenwick's term as zoning board of appeals member expires December 31st, 2008, and she is willing to continue to serve. Now therefore be it resolved that Bonnie Fenwick be reappointed to the zoning board of appeals for a term to expire December 31st, 2010.
A motion?
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
December 31st, 2010, that wasn't what she,
That one is not as many years going forward for her
See, I-
because we needed to fill that 2010 block.
well, when we talked about it, we had 2013 down. So that's why I wanted to know. I made a notation that that was what we had decided on. Her appointment expired in '08, it'd be a 5-year term.
Tom, what did you note, 11? On Bonnie's, what do your notes say?
Yeah, 2013,
13?
that's what Tom had.
Or Tom? Let me just double check.
That's just my notes. You know, like I said, I didn't get my,
November 24th.
and if this is the way we have to do it in order to fill in all the slots, that's fine, but that's why I didn't.
I'm just making a list right now to be sure. This is the triple check. Okay, as I look ahead. Add those ones together. Revenue, 11. Okay, we have Charlotte Mayhew is 9. At least I'm thinking out loud with everyone. We've got one coming up, resolution 408, which is 10 for Mr. Hale, that's 910. Rogers is coming up as 11. Rabidou should be 12, and Fenwick would be 13. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
These are alternates, aren't they?
That's what it says in the heading. Hale and Rogers are alternates.
Hale and Rogers are alternates.
I move that we postpone the appointment of the rest of these positions to the zoning board, planning board, until our next meeting.
Well, why don't we just try and work through this, then we're done. It's just a matter of verifying.
There's an issue
dates.
that is, I think, important, and that is that if you appoint them and you have a need to come back and change those end of term dates, you can do that, but in the meantime, they're empowered to act as board members. And I think that's what's important.
But they don't need to act as board members because they're already authorized if they're on until the 31st, and we're meeting on the 5th, and they don't meet until after the 5th.
I'm going to second Tom's motion just to move this forward, because we do have a motion on the floor. So I'm going to second Tom's motion to table this resolution at the very least, and I think we should entertain the others. If the others need to be tabled. Actually, I can't change your motion. Your motion is to change the table the rest of them, and I'm going to second it for discussion.
There's three here.
I'm opposed to tabling all these. I think we're making them out of a molehill. I think that we can move forward on these. I do think Bonnie Fenwick, my recollection of our discussion is that it was 2013 for her. As I go through these, I don't see anybody else on the zoning board that's got a 2013 expiration date on their appointment. So I'm comfortable with that. I do see another member of the zoning board that has a 2010, and we would have sought to avoid that.
So you're saying, rather
I'm
than
saying
table it, to
go-
move this to 2013?
Make this 2013.
But we still need to vote on the motion to table, so.
If somebody has to come back and say, oh, my Lord, I made a mistake and it needs to be 2012, that's not a big deal. But I don't see turning down, not making the appointments for these people.
And also, there's some other people that we don't necessarily know, that we haven't discussed, at least I don't remember discussing. And I'd like that done, because once we set up alternates, it seems like the process always means we have to move them into a permanent position when one's open, so I'd like to make sure that the people that are taking these positions know what's expected of them, and we know a little bit about them.
And what would you do in the interim to assure that happens?
Yeah. Are you gonna interview him, Tom?
Well, it's a good idea for us to have
I don't
some
have time until.
committee or,
I thought we discussed these people.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, I know we talked about Mr. Hale, we talked about the fact he'd been at numerous meetings, He was recommended by the chairman of the zoning board. You know, he used to handle zoning issues for the mall. There were a lot of reasons why he was considered to be a good appointee.
I don't remember the name, but if it is Mr. Hale, yeah, we did have detailed discussion.
We discussed all these people at the work session.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion? I just would add to that, and I'll apologize, I can't put my fingers on that original list, and I don't know what might have happened in the interim. As I said, those were checked multiple times as far as dates. I would prefer we do the appointment if we need to do an amendment, because when we draft this out, the dates aren't as they should be, to make sure we have one a year we can amend, but we empower these people to go forward. And we enable them to, any new appointments, to make a decision about training. The worst thing that can happen is we go back if we need to. And I'm just fumbling with papers now and second guessing what I thought was done correctly. If we need to go back, we just make an amendment of a appointment date. And we can do that on the 5th. Any other discussion on the motion to table resolutions 404? The 404 we did.
7 and 8.
07 and 8, 9,
Up to
and
10.
10.
As a matter of procedure, I don't believe you have the right to insert a motion in the middle of the motion. You have a motion to table this motion, and then you can make a motion to table additionals as they come forward.
I believe I included all of the appointments, rest of the appointments in my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion.
We have a motion to table resolutions 405, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Any other discussion on that motion?
5 and 6 we already did.
5 and 6, excuse me,
5 and
5 and
6 have been
6
passed.
we did.
Yeah.
Starting with 7. I made my note on the wrong page. And that motion was seconded by Mr. Rennet. Any other discussion on that motion? 7, 8, 9, and 10. Can we get a roll call on the motion to table?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
No.
Gerard Bernadette,
No.
Martin Mannix,
No,
Bernard Bassett.
No. We have resolution 407 on the table, an appointment for Bonnie Fenwick. The motion reads to 2010. I'd like to keep it that way until I can create a new list to verify that there's an error. Any other discussion on resolution 407?
I would like to change it to 2013, because that's the date that was missing, according to my records.
the motion was made by Renadette and seconded by Brockway. Is anyone willing to approve that?
I think we leave it at 2010. Let's leave the resolutions as they are. Let's move forward with this, and if there's any amendments to be made, we can make them at the next meeting. Discussion has gone on long
Is this still
enough.
Bonnie Fenwick?
Yes.
Yes.
Because on November 24th, you did discuss doing her to 13.
I understand that, but the resolution reads 2010. We've discussed this now for about 15 minutes on this resolution alone. I say we move forward with the resolution as it is. If the date needs to be amended, the appointment is done, the date can be changed.
I agree.
Call the question, please.
Any other discussion? Do a roll call on the motion and the resolution as written.
Thomas Wood,
No.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Bernadette,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution
That
4...
was resolution, should be ready. That was 407.
7,
Thank you.
I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution 408.
Whereas a vacancy exists on the Town of Plattsburgh Zoning Board of Appeals, now therefore be it resolved that Henry Hale, 26 Seneca Drive, in the Town of Plattsburgh, be appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire December 31st, 2010.
Have a motion?
So moved. For discussion.
Mr. Rennerdeck, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, discussion.
The heading reads, as an alternate, in the body of the resolution, now there doesn't mention alternate. I would just like for clarification, is this an appointment as an alternate or as a regular board member?
I believe that's an alternate.
Thank you. Then I have no problem with that or the expiration date.
And you want it amended and resolved as an alternate?
Right.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
As I stated before, I felt that we should have interviews or talk to these people or have a committee that does.
Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
No.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Rennerdeck.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Leonard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 409.
Whereas a vacancy exists on the Town of Plattsburgh Zoning Board of Appeals as an alternate, now therefore be it resolved that Matt Rogers of 10 Patriot Drive in the Town of Plattsburgh be appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire December 31st, 2011.
So moved.
Mr. Mannix,
Second.
second. Mr. Rennerdeck. Any discussion?
And you might want to do the same thing Jerry
Yeah, I don't
mentioned
know if this
before.
is an alternate or
As an alternate
regular.
and resolved.
Now, should this also be a 2-year appointment running, not just for 2010?
Yeah, should say 2010.
Yeah. And again, I will go back through these. I am also a little concerned that there could be some errors here. I don't know where and when those happened. This was down. And I'll bring that back to you humbly on the 5th. Just bear with me 2 more seconds while I attempt to, before we vote on this one, I want to have another opportunity to look back here a little bit. Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood.
No.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Rennerdeck.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Leonard Bassett.
Yes. Yeah. Resolution 410.
Whereas Larry Duquette's term as planning board member is due to expire on December 31st, 2008, and whereas Mr. Duquette is willing to serve another term on the planning board, therefore be it resolved that Larry Duquette be reappointed to the planning board for a term to expire December 31st, 2015.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Rennerdeck, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
No.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Rennerdeck.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Leonard Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 411.
Resolved to receive a report from David Duquette, Dog Control Officer for December 2008.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
No, I just like his report. I like the
And I want to make sure, too, that you noticed in his last paragraph of his report, he was recently able to get 2 brand-new cages with a value of about $500 for free for housing some of his confiscated victims, which was very, very good.
And he's also getting dog houses and stuff for the dogs that are out in the cold. That people are donating the materials of the houses.
Does a good
That's
job.
nice.
He does far more than what,
Mm-hmm.
he's asked to do. I mean, he's got a job and it's difficult, and he does the job, he seems to be able to interface with people well, and, you know.
Puts a lot of effort
We're
into
very,
it.
very fortunate to
Yeah.
have a guy in the position.
Yep. I agree.
Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Laura Brendedick.
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Larry Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 412.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 12C in the amount of $834,522.56 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said abstracts.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
You checked them out?
I already checked them all.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't find anything?
No.
Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Brendedick.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Larry Bassett.
Yes. I'd like a motion to move into an executive session to discuss the work history of certain employee, as well as to have discussion relating to proposed concern about litigation relative to negotiations with Cernak Partners and the volunteer ambulance service.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Renner, Ms. Brockway, second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Sheila Brockway.
Yes.
Gerard Brendedick.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Larry Bassett.
Yes, 7:25.